Many victims think that the narcissist has moved on and now they're out there somewhere living it up. They're so happy, they're living their best lives. That's what many victims think. That's what many victims assume from what they see from the narcissist, from what the narcissist has posted on social media. So many of you have this assumption, this idea that the narcissist is doing so much better without you after everything they put you through. And honestly, it's just not like that at all. That's really not how it is for them. And that's just it. You've got to remember everything they put you through, everything they did to you. Just think about, why were they acting in that way? Why were they so crazy, erratic, devaluing you, triangulating you? And the rage, what was all of that for? It's because they felt like they were falling back into the void. They could see that their karma was coming, and they were doing anything they can to stay afloat. Like the old saying goes, a desperate man will clutch at a straw. They're just trying to hold on to anything that they can because they feel like they're slipping, they're falling. So they're trying to hold on to something. And that's how you've got to see it. And it's because they know that their karma is coming. And so they're trying to escape their karma. They're trying to run away from it. But karma never loses an address. Give this video a thumbs up if this is what you want to hear. This is it, you know. Karma is coming for the narcissist. But many of you get it mixed up, you get it confused. You think, oh, the narcissist has moved on. You may have seen them yourself with the new supply. Or maybe they posted pictures up on social media and they look so happy together. But what you got to think is, why? Why are they moving on so quickly? What have they got all of this supply for? Why do they need it? And of course, it's because after leaving you, after the relationship ended, it revealed their fear of abandonment. And that's why they need this abundance of new supply. Because they're trying to run away from their fate, their karma. And that's what the new supply is for. It's for them to try and escape their fear of abandonment. Some of you may also see the narcissist going on vacation, taking trips with their new supply, going to lots of different places. And you may think that they're living it up, they're living their best lives. But again, these frequent relocations signal a desire to escape accountability. So they're just trying to avoid the consequences of their actions. And you may see the narcissist with lots of new friends. They may look like they're having a good time, but they're forming new friendships quickly to mask their inability to maintain genuine connections. So they want to make it look like they've got lots of friends and everything's all good. Why is that so important to them? Why do they want to make it look like they have so many friends? And as though they're going out all these places and as though it's just you who's left alone every night by yourself. Why do they want to make it look that way to you? It's because, again, deep down it is something they're insecure about. They know that they have an inability to maintain genuine connections, and that's why that's one of the main things they put forth to you, along with displaying their new supply and their frequent relocations. Everything they put out to you, everything you see from them, it's all designed to mask their insecurities, to hide the very things that they know they don't have, or that they aren't ever going to get to experience for themselves. That's all that's for, because they know it's never going to be real for them. And yet they know that while they may have left you in a pit of misery and destruction, they know that at some point things can get better for you, and you can have a real relationship. You can go different places and actually have a good time for real. And you can make new friends. You can experience genuine connections that they can't. So they know all of this, and this is why they put all of this out to you. Because again, it's the very thing that they are insecure about. And also with the smear campaign, the very reason why a narcissist runs a smear campaign on you is because they fear being exposed. That's why they try to expose you and they turn everyone against you, because they're terrified that everyone is going to turn against them. And of course, if they didn't run a smear campaign, that's likely what would happen. They would be exposed, people would turn against them. And so now they're very paranoid and they're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. They're very anxious. And this is why you see they're so irritable. It's like you never know what they're going to do next. They're so unpredictable. It's just all of these things are going on, so much chaos and destruction. Because they're terrified deep down of being exposed, being revealed, and everyone turning against them. And damaging their false image. They're terrified of these things. So this is why they run off and seek new supply. This is why they go to lots of different places to run away. This is why they form new friendships quickly, and they keep lots of friends to mask their inability to maintain genuine connections. This is why they run smear campaigns, because they're terrified of being exposed. And despite all of this, deep down they know their fate. They know that it is coming, and this is why they will experience increasing paranoia. They will fear exposure and betrayal. And they will never be at peace, they will never be at rest, and this is why you see them and they're so restless. And it's like they're constantly on you, they can't leave you alone. They're always doing something, even if you don't see it as though it's something being done to you, it is. Like when you see them posting a picture on social media with the new supply, this is all intended to get to you. Anything you see them do, anything that they display to you, it's meant to affect you in some sort of way. They want you to think that it's innocent. Because many times with you, it's innocent. You don't mean to offend or upset them in any way. It's just something that inadvertently happens with you. You're just living your life. But with them, it's never innocent. It's always orchestrated. It's always staged to get a reaction out of you, to help them to mask their insecurities so they don't have to feel anything. It's all intentional. Everything you see from them, everything they do. You will never see anything real or authentic from a narcissist. It's all manipulation. Everything is. And of course, when they're constantly manipulating everything, everything's an orchestration, an illusion. Of course, I mean, each new relationship, friendship, location, whatever it is, it brings them diminishing satisfaction and validation. So they're never truly fulfilled. And of course, they were never truly fulfilled with you. How could they be when they manipulated you? They deceived you. They didn't show you who they really are. So how could they find any fulfillment in that? And this is why, after a certain amount of time, they go to targeting your identity, sabotaging you, discrediting you, smearing you. Why is that always their go-to thing when you're about to speak out, when you're about to expose the truth about them? It's because they feel that their false identity, their false image is being threatened. That's why. And all of this is just them running from their fate. Their false identities, everything you see from them, the ideal image that they present to people, even what you saw when they manipulated you at the beginning, that false image, that was just them running from their fate. That's why they love bombed you. That's why they were all over you, because they were running from their fate. They were running from what they knew was about to happen to them. And you were just a life raft. They just needed you to save them, to protect them, to keep them safe. And that's what we all did for them. That's why they played the victim to us at the beginning. You know, you think like at the beginning of a normal relationship, it's, it's more about getting to know each other and, asking questions, learning about each other, seeing what you like, what you're interested in, seeing if you have anything in common, shared interests. With a narcissist, they just come in playing the victim. Just instantly, they're asking you for help. And they're telling you about their family, their exes. This is right at the start. Before you even get to know who they are. And it's like, as far as you know about them, it's just their entire identity of what they're displaying to you is just what other people are meant to have done to them. And that's always a red flag. Because, you're meant to be dating, you're meant to be building a relationship. But instead, it's like you're their therapist. It's like you're their coach. And yeah, this is all just them running away from their fate, their karma. But don't get it confused, because sometimes it could it could get confused with a victim. A genuine victim who maybe finally finds someone real, someone genuine, and they may express everything to them because it's the first time in a long time that they've actually found someone real. So that can happen as well sometimes. And, often covert narcissists, they do pretend to be victims. So they can be confused, they can be mixed up. But yeah, despite the outward appearances of success that you see from them, their emotional emptiness deepens. They may appear happy, successful, fulfilled on the outside. But remember, everything they're doing is trying to fill this void, to relieve these feelings of emptiness. And of course, nothing external, nothing on the outside can do that. No person, no vacation, no possession. These are all just things that they use to mask their insecurities. And even with you, when they were playing you for a fool, using you as their puppet, it was just a way to mask their insecurities. That's all that it was. And, they may have felt a sense of power and validation from that, a sense of control. But that's just it. Why do they need the control? It's because they're insecure. And yet they don't want to deal with it. They're constantly trying to run away from it. They're constantly running from their fate. And this is why gradually you may see their destructive behaviors like substance abuse escalate over time. Because they are suffering from chronic stress and anxiety, which impacts their health. And this is why, just remember when you are around them, you always feel stressed, you always feel anxious, because that's how they feel, and they want you to feel the same way. Because that then validates their experience. So they provoke these emotions in you because that's exactly what they're going through every minute of every day. And this is why they always want to be in control. They always want to be 10 steps ahead of you. They want to be the master puppeteer. But of course, they can't always be in control. No matter what they try to do, there's always going to be failed attempts, which will lead to their emotional breakdowns. And so they will remain trapped in a self-destructive cycle that they can't escape. Because sometimes they will get it, sometimes they will have full control over you, but then other times they won't. They're never going to have full control over you all of the time. Sometimes they do, and it creates an addiction based off the emotional high and feelings of expectancy, because they're just waiting, wondering when is the next time that they're going to get it? When is the next time that they're going to have that full control over you like a puppet? They become addicted to you. You become this tool that temporarily relieves, or rather distracts them from their feelings of emptiness. And that's what we're used for. That's what they use people for. But just a distraction from their feelings of emptiness, from their own insecurities. And that's why you may see the narcissist going on vacation, living lavishly, purchasing expensive gifts. They've got to be at all of the nice places. And they've got to have the right connections. They've got to be in the right neighborhood. They've got to have a nice car. All of this is just to distract them from the inside. And this is why you'll probably never see a narcissist hiking on their own in the middle of the woods. They've always got to be around other people. They've always got to be showing off something, bragging and boasting about it. Because they need that supply, they need that distraction. It helps them to delay their fate. But that's just it, they can't keep running forever. And for them to keep up this false persona and keep manipulating and controlling people, deceiving them, distorting their perceptions, this takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy to keep that persona going. It drains them. It's exhausting because that's not really them. And yeah, over time, they suffer an emotional breakdown from trying to hide all the lies, running away from accountability. And, they go off somewhere, acting like everything's all good, like they've moved on. Well, they haven't dealt with things before in a previous situation. So wherever they're going now, whatever they're doing, they're trying to maintain a false persona. They're trying to forget about everything they did before to you, everything they put you through. They're trying to just keep that in the back of their heads. Like it doesn't even matter. Even though deep down they know that it defines them. It defines who they are. Deep down they know that. And humans in general, we have this awareness that, even if you act nice to everyone else, You're still defined by that one thing that you did to that one person. At some level, we all have this awareness. And so wherever they go, deep down, they know they're living a lie. They know that. They know that they're running from their fate. They know they can't keep up this false act forever. And at some point, they will suffer a breakdown. Because everything they try and use to mask their insecurities, relationships, friendships, they can't experience genuine connections because the real them, they want nothing to do with it. They can't connect to anyone because if they were to do that, they would have to be open, honest, and authentic. And the only way for that to be possible is if they were to be fulfilling, because they're not connected to themselves, they're not authentic. Well, the other option is if they can keep someone unaware, but at some point that person's going to figure it out. They can't keep that mask up forever. At some point it's going to slip. Just as it did with you, and you began to see just how irritable, anxious, chaotic, and destructive they are because they're constantly running away. They're constantly running away from themselves. Constantly trying to delay the inevitable. Their fate, their karma. And this is why they need lots of sources, lots of fake friends, all of these external distractions, vacations, luxury possessions, all of these things. It's all a distraction from within. That's all that it is. And this is why it's like many of them just can't leave you alone. Because their false identity is tied to you and how you're doing. So they have to make sure that you're stuck, that you're not happy with yourself, that you don't look good or feel good about yourself. Because otherwise they can't feel good about their false character. Because what that does is it opposes their false narrative. Because they did what they did to you, or they left you because you were no good. So how can you now be good? How can things now go well for you if what they said about you was true? So then they begin to feel insecure. They begin to realize that their false identity is all a lie. Because they recognize that they either made a big mistake with you, or they did it deliberately. They knew that you were fine, and they just made it all up so that they could avoid accountability. And so this is how they hold on to you. And they keep coming back, trying to sabotage you, discredit you, and just say all of these horrible things about you to everyone. Because their false identity is based off of you, how you look to other people, how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself. It's all based off of that. And this is why, despite everything they said about you, many of you remain significant to them in many ways, because you are a reference point. Remember, they targeted you out of envy. They wanted to take from you to rebuild their false identity. They're constantly polishing it because they're running away from their fate. And the last thing they ever want to do is come back to themselves. At everything you see, it doesn't matter what you see from them. The weather new supply is because they fear abandonment. They're constantly relocating everywhere. It's because they're running away from accountability. All of these fake friendships, it's because they can never be alone. And it's to mask their insecurity of their inability to experience genuine connection. smear campaign is because they're terrified of being exposed themselves. So that's what all of this is for. And their vacations, their luxury possessions, their new car, whatever it may be, it's all a distraction from the inside. They can't ever be alone. And yeah, for us, it seems that they remove all of the distractions, so we're left with nothing but the opportunity to rebuild our character after everything they did to us. So it leaves us in the perfect position for healing. That's what it does. And that's so many of us, you know. We figure out everything that happened to us, and then we begin that healing journey because we're in the perfect position to do so. We have no distractions anymore. Well, as for them, healing is never going to happen because they continue with all of those distractions until finally they suffer an emotional breakdown, and then they further just play the victim. They just act like everything was your fault or someone else, but never them. They never take accountability for anything. So how could they find fulfillment in anything if they're not even real, they're not even genuine? And remember, you know, these are not just like small things that we're talking about. But of course, at some point, everyone's told some little lie. Everyone's made some small mistakes. These are big things we're talking about. We're talking about denial of reality, denial of who they are. These are big things. It's not like something like from decades ago where it's just, you know, something silly, something small. You know, these are extreme things. Things that have a devastating impact on people's lives. And this is what they're doing, and it never stops. You know, things to this degree. And this is how you should know that it doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter who they're with. It doesn't matter how good things look for them. You should know that none of it is real. You remember what was real to you. You remember what they put you through. You remember the effects that it had on you. You remember how it made you feel. You remember how they did nothing to make things better. Remember how they didn't even care. That's them. And that's who you should know. Everything they do from that point on, it's just to mask their insecurities of deep down knowing what a monster they are. And they're never going to find true fulfillment. They're never going to have genuine connections with anyone. Because even other fake people like themselves, they can't connect to them. It's all superficial. It's all about power. Well, as for us, we are going to heal together. And we are going to have real relationships, real connection, real friendships and community, a real identity, which are all things that they don't have and that they're never going to have. Because they don't even have the ingredients, the foundation to build that. So that's never going to be a reality for them. But it will for us because we are honest, we are authentic. And we are not ill-intentioned. We are innocent. And honestly, yeah, they saw that in you. And they recognized it. You know, clearly they did. That's how they mimic it. It's like they saw with you. You innocently and inadvertently triggered them. Made them envious and jealous of you. Made them want to be just like you. Made them want to steal from you. That's what we inadvertently and innocently did to them. Because they're that insecure. And they want to make it seem that way to you. Notice how they always do that. Every time. They always try and make it appear innocent. They play dumb. Because that is the very effect that you had on them, and deep down they know that. They know that that's what you did. And you weren't even aware of it. And what you did was even abusive. It wasn't even deliberately harmful to them. It was just an innocent thing. And because they're so insecure, because they're easily triggered, you just inadvertently set them off. That's why they turned against you. That's why they devalued you. That's why they hold a grudge. That's why they're so resentful. And that's why they go off the new supply and they act like they're living their best lives. And they act like it's all so innocent. Like they're not intending to upset you. They're not intending to ruin your life and just destroy everything for you. Because that's the effect that you had on them. And you didn't even mean to. And that wasn't a fault in you. It's just a reflection of your success, your independence, your worth. All things that you shouldn't want to change. All things that you should strive for. But with them, it's never innocent. It's always orchestrated. Whatever effect they have on you, you can be sure that that was how they wanted to affect you. They wanted to upset you, provoke you. And on top of that, anything you see from them, the new supply, whatever they're doing, it's all fake anyway. Because where's the part about everything they did to you? Where's the part about everything they put you through? So how can someone who operates like that, who has that kind of behavior, how could they experience happiness or success in anything? How could they experience genuine fulfillment? They can't. So that you know that's all a lie. But as for you, I mean, you know, we can have some compassion for them by recognizing that, yeah, they target us out of envy. We did trigger them. We did expose their insecurities. We did make them feel completely worthless inside. Even though we didn't intend to. We can recognize that and have some compassion for them from afar. But then also know that that isn't our problem. It's not your fault. I mean, if you haven't done anything directly or indirectly to them, and you never meant any harm to them, you were never trying to go about it in that way, and they're just triggered on their own, that's their fault. That's their own problem, and they should manage their own emotions. Because yes, you know, we live in a world where some people are empowered, they're attractive, they're successful, and you know, as long as they're not being a dick about it, as long as they're not constantly bragging and boasting and flaunting it in your face, and it's like, you know, when is this going to end? When is this going to stop? Then there's no excuse that they are intimidated, that they feel inferior to you. Because you have the right to look good, feel good, to be your best self. You have the right to do that. Again, as long as you're not intentionally trying to trigger someone or set them off, or you're not deliberately doing anything to them, you're not harassing them, then what's wrong with that? But that's just it. There's really no confusion there a lot of the times. And they do know that with you, it's innocent. It's unintentional. They are aware of that. And that's why they do things to you. And it's always the same thing every time. They devalue you, make you feel insecure, they blame you for everything, discredit you, smear you, isolate you, trying to ruin your life. And then they go off, flaunting their new supply and acting like they're living their best lives. And they act like it's all innocent. And it's all your fault and you're just the problem. Because they're trying to twist the whole thing around on you, because at the very beginning, they targeted you out of envy. And they saw you innocently just being you and looking good and just living your best life, being the best version of yourself. They saw that in you. And although it was unintentional, it triggered them. It got them all fired up inside. And they held on to that grudge, the resentment, all of that time. And then finally, they offloaded it onto you and tried to reverse the entire situation around on you. And now they want to be that person who you are watching, you are observing. Now they want you to watch their life. They want to be you. They want to be who you were at that moment when they initially saw you, targeted you. Because that was what they envied in you. But despite that, all of the things that they're doing, they're just running from their fate. They're running from their karma. And honestly, it doesn't matter, even if they can sprint as fast as Usain Bolt, it's not going to be fast enough. Eventually, karma will catch up to them. And they're going to experience the full effects of it. But actually, they're already going through it right now. 101 live viewers, give it a thumbs up if you like this message. They're already going through it right now. They were already experiencing their fate with you. Just remember what they act like. You really think someone like that is secure, at peace within themselves, likes themselves, feels good about themselves? Tell me this, if they do, then why don't they want you to be happy or successful? Why don't they want you to be you? Why don't they want you to like you and feel good about you? If they've already got that for themselves, and that's just it. It's because they haven't got that and they never will. It's never going to be a reality for them, and yet they saw that in you. Yeah, they saw how you were satisfied with yourself. They saw how you were truly fulfilled in life, and they realized how that's never going to be like that for them. And that's why they mimicked you. They copied you. They tried to become just like you. They got around you just to study you. Because they're just not happy with themselves. And they're never going to be. Like I said, it's sad we can have some compassion for them from afar. But just know that, everything you see, it's all a lie, it's all fake. Because what about you? What about what they did to you? What about what they put you through? And yeah, that's how you know that it's all fake, and that's why they'll never find any true fulfillment, any genuine connection. That's why it will always be superficial, because if people start to dig deeper into things, if people actually have any emotional depth and they ask questions, then they're pretty quickly going to realize and come to the conclusion that something is not right. If they're having a conversation, then they're going to dig deeper and find out, what about all of these things that happened before that? And now you're doing this now after what you did to this person. So how is this you? How can you be real? How can any of this be real? And that's how you know that whoever they're dealing with, if they're not asking questions, if they're not on your side, they're siding with the narcissist, it's all fake. It's as simple as that. Because how are you alone? How are you by yourself? How did you go through all of those things, and how did you not experience any compensation for what you went through? Any resolution? And yet they just go off, they move forward. That's how you know that it's all fake. That's how you know that it's all a lie. And yeah, they run off, continuing to live a lie because they're running from their fate. They don't want anything to do with it. They don't want to deal with truth, reality. They don't want to deal with you because that's what you are. You are the truth. And, you know, when you reach a certain level of vibration, a certain frequency of love, authenticity, being a truth teller, you can't be around most people. Because most people are fake. But I will say, you know, I'm grateful to see so many people who listen to my content and other similar videos like myself. And it's good to see that people are starting to wake up. People are starting to come to the light. It is good to see that. Because this is it. This is where the healing begins. It starts with the acceptance of reality. And that's something they're never going to do. And this is why they will continue to experience constant anxiety, paranoia. And anyone who gets close to them, they're an absolute nightmare to deal with. Because that's just what it's like when you're around someone who's in denial, who doesn't accept themselves, doesn't accept the things that they have done to people. It's a miserable experience to be around someone like that, as it was for all of us. I just think, you know, if they were honest, authentic, if they could just accept the truth, just imagine how much more pleasant it would be to be around them. Because that's just it. The reason why they're at such a low vibration, the reason why they're so miserable, the reason why they're such a nightmare to be around, it's because they're in denial. It's because they just live a lie. This is why they're like that. If they were honest with themselves, they would be very different. I mean, initially, yeah, they might suffer an emotional breakdown. But gradually, they would begin to heal. So all of this crazy erratic behavior that you see, where they're running off from one supply to the next, one job to the next, one location to the next, and they're engaging in all of this excessive spending, shopping, lavish things, vacations, luxury cars, all of this stuff. And you know, they've always got to be around lots of people. They're always at the parties, they're drinking, they're doing drugs, gambling, all of these addictions, all of this is escapism. What are they escaping from? They're escaping from the truth And not just the truth from you. That's not just why they run away from you. And they smear your name, turn everyone against you, lie about you, spread rumors about you, and destroy your reputation, isolate you, or just leave you in a pit of misery on your own. It's not just why they do that, because of the truth in you, but also that there's the truth in themselves that they're running away from. So this is why they have all these addictions. This is why they need so many people to validate the illusion, because they're running away from themselves. And many of you, you think you know them. You never knew the real them. No one will ever know that side of them, because that truth is buried deep down somewhere, and you will never get to see it. You'll never hear the truth from them about what they really think, how they really feel. You'll never know. You may have seen the mask slip, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. If you really knew what they think about people, the hatred, the resentment that they have inside, they're absolutely miserable people. They really are. And this is why it's just such a miserable experience to be around them. This is why they're so unstable, dysregulated, paranoid, insecure. It's because they're in denial, dissonance, two conflicting beliefs. Like in their childhood, on one hand, they were told that they were perfect, and then from another source of influence, they were told that they're no good, they're worthless. Created this dissonance. That's what created the narcissism, to where they have to prove that no, they are the best, they are special, they are perfect. That's what created it. And that's how we see that in them. And they have all of these coping mechanisms, all of these things that they do, and these destructive behaviors to try and make that a reality, to make it seem real, to where it's like they are perfect, they never did anything wrong, it's just you were the problem. And they try to make that a reality in you. They try to make you look bad. They ruin your life for that reason, to support this false narrative, to make themselves look good. And it's all a lie. It's all fake, everything that they do. They're running from the truth within themselves. And what is the truth? Is that they are no good. As what's meant to be a fully functioning adult, they are inadequate, because they have an arrested emotional development. They've been running from themselves their entire lives. And they're never going to accept that. And that's what they're running from. And this is their fate, is that they're always just going to be running away, seeking distractions. They're always going to feel empty, miserable. This is their fate. Their fate is not them losing everything. That's what happens to us a lot of times, and that's how our healing begins. Their fate is that it keeps going, is that they keep seeking new sources of supply. They keep seeking new friendships to mask their inability to experience genuine connection. They keep relocating and they keep running these campaigns and spreading these false narratives. That's their fate. Most of the time. Their fate is that it keeps going, not that it stops. So if you see the narcissist going off to a new source, or they have to be around lots of people, partying all the time, spreading rumors, lies, all of these negative, destructive behaviors, that is their fate. This is all a part of their fate. I mean, sometimes, yeah, you will see the narcissistic collapse, especially in old age. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes what you're seeing, where they're just holding on. Like the old saying goes, a desperate man will clutch at a straw. That is their fate. Instead of drowning, for their entire lives, they're always going to be the desperate man clutching at a straw. And that's their life. A constant state of insecurity, stability. Even if they are never completely destabilized. And honestly, if it was my choice, what would I prefer for my fate? I'd rather just be a collapsed narcissist. I'd rather just completely destabilize. At least then I can start again. At least then I can have a fresh start. But for them, they continue to hold on. And I would say that is the worst fate of all. To never have anything real, to never know who you are, that sucks. But that's how it is for them. Constantly seeking distraction. And, of course, I think that's the worst fate for someone. And this is why for so many of you, I put out this content. I put in as much time as I can on my work, on my videos. And that's why I offer my one-on-one coaching service, is to awaken all of you so that you're not continuously seeking distractions, unhealthy coping strategies, addictions, because I want to keep you out of the loop. And as I've spoken about, I was trapped in that loop before. I know what it's like, chasing endless validation, just seeking a distraction. And it's miserable. It's so much more peaceful, and you like yourself so much more. You know yourself. Once you finally remove yourself from the cycle. Just as the narcissist puts us in a cycle of abuse, they are endlessly in a cycle of self-harm. That's how they're able to do that to you, because they are also in a cycle of their own. And just how they treat you like a puppet, they are also a puppet. The master puppeteer was possibly a parent. That's how they still have the inner dialogue, the inner critic in their minds. And they're constantly fighting against that voice that's telling them they're no good. They're worthless, inadequate. They're never going to be anything. It's constantly telling them that, and they're constantly fighting against it. They're like, no, I am something, I am special, I am the best. I'm perfect. It's a constant fight. And this is how they just, it's kind of like they project the negative critic onto us as though we are the ones saying this to them. Even just by us being ourselves, and we innocently trigger them. It's like they hear a voice that's telling them, you're worthless, you're fake, you're a fraud. You're never going to be anything. And they're like, no, I am the best, I'm the greatest, I'm perfect. And then they end up lashing out at us, destroying us, just trying to ruin our life. This is how it happens. Because of that critic that was developed in childhood from their parents. They've always been a puppet. And they always will be one. Even if that master puppeteer isn't around anymore. And yeah, they're always going to be stuck in that cycle where they project it onto us, they idealize us, and then they devalue us, and then they discard us, hoover us. And if they're not doing it to us, they're doing it to someone else. They're going to remain stuck in that cycle for the rest of their lives. That's their fate. And it is a tragic fate. So don't wait for the collapse. Don't wait for everything to crumble. Honestly, that could be the best thing that could ever happen to them. The worst consequence for them is that they do keep going. They never get caught. They never have to be accountable. And they're just constantly seeking a distraction, an escape. Constantly stuck in a cycle. That is the worst consequence for them. That is their fate. And so if you see them with new supply, if it looks like they're living their best lives, all of these friends, and they put you through the ringer, blamed you for everything, spread a false narrative about you, that means that they didn't get away. They're still going through it. They're still in the cycle. They're still experiencing their fate. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the live chat. I take the plaque with me everywhere I go. You know, when I first got this plaque 3.5 years ago, immediately I put it in another frame to protect it. And since that day, it's never come out of this frame. I've taken very good care of it. But even if anything happened to it, I could always get another one. But this one, it definitely has sentimental value. But yeah, those of you who are new here, I had the plaque 3.5 years ago when I achieved 100,000 subscribers. Doing this now, researching about narcissistic personality disorder for over 7 years. I'm a narcissist expert, aren't I? I've been making these videos now 6.5 years. Had the plaque now for 3.5 years. I've made, I think I made nearly 5,000 videos. Was that me or? No, but seriously, yeah. I am a narcissist expert. And I've been studying about narcissism daily for over 7 years. I've coached hundreds of clients, even psychologists and medical professionals, lawyers, celebrities. Helped a lot of people. You can book a one-on-one with me on my website, narcsurvivor.co.uk. I can help you. Layla says they will be in the cycle for the rest of their lives, but as survivors don't need to begin it or know about it, we can grow and recover and move forward in our lives. That's it. I mean, this is why anytime you're around them, they have to put you back in the cycle. They either put you through the love bombing, the devaluation, discard, indifference. It's all they can do. They can't do anything else because they are stuck in the cycle as well. But you could just leave them behind and you don't have to be in the cycle anymore. It all begins by going no contact. And as I said, it's much more peaceful not being in the cycle. And this is why, once I got out of the cycle, once I got away from narcissists, I spent a lot of time alone. And I was going to, as you may see in my live videos, beginning from about 3 years ago, I was just in remote places all the time. Just far away from cities, far away from everyone. Just by myself, walking on a beach, walking in the jungle, hiking. And that's always the best experience for me. Nothing feels better. What I don't like is being around lots of people, being in malls. That's not peaceful for me anymore. It used to be. It used to feel good, going out, being in public spaces, going to clubs, and just having a constant attention from other people. I used to like that a lot when I was younger. And I've just got to a certain point of healing where I no longer like that anymore. Because most people aren't living in truth, and it just feels so fake for me. So the best experience for me is just being out in nature, far away from everything. Nothing feels better. And I'm looking forward to hopefully being in nature again very soon. When I go back to Malaysia, let's see, hopefully by if it's not by May at the very latest, hopefully I can go somewhere peaceful. But that's what I find, even when I go to peaceful places, it's not so peaceful after all. And I still get people following me around, and it's very noisy, and I could go hiking for such a long time in the middle of the woods, and then someone finds me. That's just it though, when you increase your vibration, you're at such a level, it's very attractive to people. Because you don't need them, you don't need their validation. So it leaves room for them to seek validation from you. I mean, of course, you're not gonna try and seek validation or attention from someone who's playing the victim or throwing a pity party. That's never gonna work. And so that's why they'll chase after us when we're in a high vibration, when we're healing. It's more attractive to them because we've got space for them. We don't need anything. We don't need their emotional support. We don't need their compliments, validation. So it leaves room for them to get it from us. And that's how, I find it very hard to be alone now. I want to be alone. I want to be in a peaceful place. It's just very difficult to find that. People always need me. But I'm going to keep trying, I'm always traveling, I'm always looking around, trying to find somewhere peaceful. I mean, if you look at my Instagram, it's crazy, all of the content I've posted over the last few years. I'm going to all sorts of just remote places, like tribal villages and hiking up mountains, everything. Wherever I go, there's always people there. It's like I just can't be alone, no matter where I go. But I'm going to keep trying. Because solitude is peaceful for me. And I can't remember the last time I was alone. But you know what does help is being alone with Nala. Or just being with Nala, because, you know, nature is a high vibration. Nature isn't denying anything, so that definitely helps a lot. And also making these videos, and when I watch my videos back, you know, I sense a very high vibration in most of my videos, because it's about truth, acceptance. It's not about denying anything. Eddie Wynn says, you have a right to be proud, Christopher. Thank you. I am very proud, you know. Even though I've had this plaque for 3.5 years, I look at it every day. And I'm so grateful, I'm so glad that I achieved that. And that's why I'm so thankful for all of you, because, you know, of course we achieved it together. I can't achieve a plaque on my own without any subscribers. So I've got to give thanks to all of you. But yeah, I would have liked that, you know, if it did say presented to the Narc Survivor community. Because it's not just about me being some kind of celebrity or star. It was never about that with me. It was always about the community. And you know, this is why since the very beginning, 6.5 years ago, practically every day, I spend time every morning to read all of your comments. And even back when my videos were going viral, about 4 years ago, I was reading about 300 to 400 comments a day. I was so dedicated to just going through all of the comments, engaging with all of you. Because that's just it, you know, the community is very important to me. This connection that we have. Graham Whiting says, I'm actually surprised YouTube is okay with narcissism talks, as they hate the truth. I don't know, I don't think YouTube is completely against the truth. Because to be fair, well, the first time I tried to monetize my content, and my request got rejected. But then I tried again, and then it was approved. That was back in 2019. February 2019. Or 2018, actually. Yeah, February 2018. And yeah, they approved me for monetization back then. And actually, even from my gang stalking videos, I've received quite a bit of ad revenue from them. So I think YouTube is pretty good. You know, it's definitely very helpful that they let us talk about these topics. And, you know, who knows how many people's lives have been changed through YouTube alone, from having this information. It's definitely changed everything for me. I mean, I know myself a lot better now, and I see the world very differently. I'm living a much more authentic life, thanks to these videos on YouTube. Honestly, I don't know where I'd be without them. But yeah, for me, the plaque is just a reminder of my hard work and dedication. But it's about our community as a whole. And, it's sentimental to me. It's not about proving anything to anyone. Because of course, no matter what you do, it's never gonna be enough. Especially with narcissists. I mean, they're very egotistical. Deep down they feel inferior, inadequate. So I could be like, yeah, I got my plaque here, check this out. 100K, baby. And then a narc comes along and they're like, 100K. What about 1 million? What about the gold plaque? And then you get the gold after years of hard work, and then it's like, what about 10 million? 100 million subscribers? And it's just never enough. Same thing, like you could be a doctor and maybe got a PhD, and it's like, oh, what about 2 PhDs? What about 3? And it just never stops. And what you need to do is just stop and just be like this. This is what we need to do from now on. So as an example, I've got my silver plaque, 100K subscribers. Let's say a narc says to me, 100K subscribers, what about 1 million? Just stop and just say, how many subscribers have you got? That's what you got to do. Just put it back on them. If they're trying to get you to qualify yourself to them, you got to think, well, what makes you someone worthy of me qualifying myself to? Because you may want to qualify yourself to some people. Some people may be worthy of you proving something to them. People who are greater than you in some sort of way. People with greater awareness, intelligence, qualifications, of course. But many of these narcissists, they haven't achieved anything. And yet they're criticizing or discrediting you. And you just got to think, what's so credible or trustworthy about you? What puts you in a position to judge me? That's how you got to think. I mean, fair enough if it's someone coming on you. Like, fair enough if it's, like, if it was like Dr. Ramani herself and she says something that I said in one of my videos and it's not right, so I need to correct it. I'd be like, fair enough, this is Dr. Ramani. I mean, she's more experienced, more qualified than I am. So, that's someone that I would listen to. But why should we listen to narcissists, trolls, people who aren't even doing anything? But of course, that's what they want you to do. But that's how you got to look at it. You got to think, show me. Let's see your qualifications. Let's see your skills. Let's see what you got. And then I'll decide if I want to take advice or criticism from you. That's how you got to be with them. I wouldn't be that way towards any of you, of course, because, you don't come at me with ego. And, I genuinely appreciate any feedback that you have. Even if, you don't have the same amount of research or experience in narcissism as I do. I still listen to everything you have to say. But I'm just talking about these narcissists who are just so quick to try and tear you down. Eddie Wen says they want you in the trash can or the grave. Well said, Ellie. Mimi Reese says, yes, nature is good for the soul. Melinda says, I genuinely care about and deeply take your words in. Christopher, what a relentless passion you have. Oh my gosh. Christopher, I hear you. I'm right there with you. LOL. Well, you know what I mean. I'm glad to hear that, Melinda. It's good to hear that you care and that you listen to what I have to say and you see my passion. That's a great comment here. Good to see. Eddie Wynn says they would buy a diploma or a plaque because they hate real work and are too cowardly to sweat out a challenge. You know, it's funny you say that because in some of my early videos, my pre-recorded videos, I often included the footage of like someone like running with like a trophy. And I just imagine like it's something like they just like stole my plaque or something, and then they're acting like it's theirs. Because you know, that's what they do. They literally like they probably steal your award, or they just take credit for your success. It sounds really childish and immature, but this is what it is. They quite literally steal your stuff and act like it's them, like it's their hard work, their dedication. And it's like, no, you're a nobody. You're just a fake. But yeah, you know, it's good to see we have this strong community in the live chats. But also, I would like to develop more of a community in the comment section as well. So, you know, please take the time just to drop a comment down below. You know, I know there's already some people commenting. And also, I read your comments every day as well. So, you know, just take a few seconds, drop a comment, and let's get the conversation started. Also, give it a thumbs up if it was helpful for you. Subscribe if you're new. And also, don't forget to click the bell icon. And, well, I don't think it's a bell icon anymore, but next to the subscribe button, select all notifications. That way you will be notified when I upload a new video. And you may also need to go into the settings on your phone and select the YouTube app. And just make sure, you know, you are receiving the notifications on your phone, because otherwise it's not going to notify you, and you might miss out on some of my videos. And if you would like guidance or support your healing journey, you can book a one-on-one with me on my website, narcsurvivor.co.uk. Donations, if you would like to donate, go to paypal.me/narcsurvivor. I appreciate all of your donations, no matter how small. And I am available on Instagram. Follow me at Narc Survivor YouTube. So that's it for this one. Tropical trees in the back. You may have seen the birds flying by. Thank you all for your support, and I will talk to you soon.